Finally, we are back after a month. The computer broke down, but we fixed it, luckily. So we jump right into it. It's the start of the season, it's the second round, and it's already been a month ago or something, but it's really enjoyable game to cover. So it's against a really strong opponent, and he quit it for a year, so he is back now and stronger than ever. And I knew that if I gonna play d4, he was going to play knight f6, and I would normally play c4, and he would go for the king's Indian, and that's more of likely some sort of position like this. And it's a nice opening, but it's more of an all-in opening, and that is for black really nice because it's really uncomfortable for white, in my opinion. So I went for e4, and I knew he was going to play the Sicilian. And the Sicilian is, when you look at my videos before, I love the Sicilian. Knight f3, and he's playing the French variation, but it's more turning into a Taimanov. When I play the d4, the main line, just break open the center, takes, and now I have a strong knight in the center. And now you can go for a really nice opening, and that's called the Taimanov. And the Taimanov is really solid opening for black. So I can play knight c3, and you play queen c7. And queen c7 does a lot of things. It's a really strong diagonal you can put your queen on, but it's also in the future you can play knight f6 freely because of whenever e5 is possible, you have two attackers on it. So e5 is not possible. Your knight is pretty safe on f6. So that is a really nice opening. However, he went for knight f6. I went for knight c3, and normally you go for this or a6 or whatever. And he went for bishop b4. And bishop b4 was a little bit of a surprise. I'm out of theory right now, because there's a little bit of a threat if he takes on c3 and I take with a pawn. My e4 pawn is hanging. So what I did in the game was playing f3, and it's a little bit of a mistake, but I will explain it later. I should have gone for e5, and e5 is knight d5, and I didn't really like it to go for this line, well, because you really like to trade it off, and then you can go back or something. But I have queen g4 here, queen g4, and you cannot castle because of bishop h6. And suddenly you have to play g6. Normally you can play bishop f6 to cover it all up. However, now you have to play g6, and I take the bishop, or even play h4 and just try to open it up. So I didn't see queen g4, but there was also a different move. Let's say it was queen g4 immediately, and now when you castle, I have bishop h6, and bishop h6 is now pretty strong. Same thing. So that was quite an interesting start already. I was just warming up, but there was so much in it that it was a little bit too much for me, I guess. So I played f3, and f3 was more in the sentence to cover e4. So if you take, I have the bishop pair, that's perfectly fine for me. So I probably play bishop c5 and then castle. However, I was planning to go for queen e2 or something, let's say, or f4 even, and castle queenside. However, it was a little bit of a mistake. It's not the position to castle queenside, so I forced it a little bit. So f3 was not really to be proud of. He castled, so quite a nice opening for black. He played his bishop, he played his knight, and he castled. So he is gonna do all the principles right. So that's pretty nice, but it's equal. So bishop d2, e5, I go back to b3. And now you see a little bit of the problem because of f3 is that, am I going to play queen e2 to castle queenside? I'm not sure. Bishop, or maybe queen b6 and I cannot even castle kingside. Or just keep the king in the center and make it really problems with myself. now he made a little bit of a mistake, fortunately for me, and he played d5 too quickly. And I can, well, I should not take with the pawn because that's pretty losing. Because now you can take the bishop, the knight first. And if I take, now you can take here, and I cannot take here because of the pin. And if I want to defend it, you have f6, and it's you lose the piece. So this is not up for grabs. And yeah, so I went for knight takes d5, and knight takes d5 is a little bit stronger because of what happened to the game is that he took, and now I can take. And now this pawn, you cannot take this pawn, because if you take my bishop with check, I defend it. And I can also castle queenside now, so the f3 move was not that bad after all in this position. So he cannot take this pawn. So he went for bishop f5, and now I should have gone with, I have an extra pawn, so I need to trade pieces and not make myself so hard, because I thought he was blundering a piece, but then I thought, well, he's 1841, so he probably is not blundering a piece. And later on I found this check, and now you can take, but you have a check, you have to play g3, and now you lose the bishop again. However, you have queen d2, and if you take, I'm just going to take with the king, and we're suddenly in the endgame, which is very favorable for me. So I should have gone for this. However, I did not. I thought it was a great idea to play c4, which is also the third best move, so it's okay. And now you do not, you have this check, but I play g3 anyways, and now it's covered because of the bishop, and the check is basically losing the game. So I was hoping that he was taking, and then I was taking with the queen, and now I am very comfortable position. However, he just played knight to a6, and if I probably now I should have went for a3, and if you take, it's all good, and if you go back, it's okay. But now I can play maybe bishop e3, maybe bishop e2 is better to quite castle. But you have the queen b6, so f3 is a questionable move if you castle kingside. So, but yeah, you have to live with your mistakes, and that's okay. Bishop e2, and now queen b6 is really strong because I cannot castle kingside, and I also really don't want to castle queenside as well because it's very weak here. So I made a little bit of a problem here and there. The best move is g4 and go for h4 and go for this this bishop. Let's say f5. Now I can play maybe g5 to lock it down, and then I can play a3 to kick it away. Because if I take and you take with the knight, you threaten this fork again with the bishop. So luckily he didn't went for queen b6. And now I had a chance to castle, so I went for it. And if you take, it's okay. Now he played rook e8. And now I took. And made a little bit, I should have gone for bishop takes, and probably rook f2, because this fork is quite annoying. If you go here, it's knight c2. And not sure what happened here. Let's see. Rook c1. You have yeah, there was the problem, the fork on this. So you're basically attacking my knight. My rook. I have to move it, and then you have this fork. So this knight is quite annoying, and I really wanted to trade the bishop off, but not on my terms. So I kept it here. So I went for a check-free position. Well, now there's a check as well, so it's a little bit of a mistake. But queen b6 will not come with the check anymore, so that's nice. Really want to trade it off, so I can play probably a3 in the future. Queen e7, bishop, and now he had the chance to go for my king, and now I am up a pawn, but it's really strong position for black if I don't pay attention. So I thought I had to trade pieces. There are two bishops throwing at my king, so let's trade at least one bishop off. Now he went for queen h4, and this is threatening mate, so playing g3 is not really possible because of the pin. So I have to play h3, but before I went playing h3, I thought I'm gonna sack my bishop first. Well, it's not really a sack, but still, it's fun to call it a sack. And it's quite funny because now there are two options. There is king h8, and it's looking not really natural because you're not winning the piece back. And there's also this, and now you can see it's blunder. You should have gone for king h8 because of h3, and now you have queen g3. Now it's getting really nasty because bishop f4 is basically forced, probably because queen h2, king f2, queen g3, and if I go back, well, the ancient likes to repeat apparently, bishop g3, and now it's probably a draw, I guess. Bishop c7, and my king is trapped in a drawing net. He is always this check, and when I go back, he is this check, and when I go back, you can just go back with your bishop. So it's quite funny. And I don't want to draw, so yeah, he should have went for this, but it's really unnatural to not take the bishop, right? So he's taking this bishop. And now I'm playing h3, and if you play queen g3 now with the same idea, I have this check. And you go back. I have at least a draw. The strong move is the bishop move, bishop f4. And if I can get rid of this, I'm already winning. If you could take here and I can take here, it's easy. It's easy because of the 3 pawns extra. 3 pawns extra should be enough. And now he made he was trying to double, I guess, and then go for mate. But I saw that the queen was defending, so I had to do something about it. At least I thought. I saw a queen trade here. And a queen trade is, for me, very helpful because I'm not getting mated, right? This bishop is so strong, g3, and it's already almost made. So yeah, that's what he did. The best move is queen f3. And I did not have this check, unfortunately, because he can block again. And then I've probably, maybe I can take with the king. Knight d2. So that's quite funny to go for this. However, he sacked his rook again, which was kind of odd to me because now I was clearly winning because this is not strong enough. I'm covering 2 very important squares with my queen. And he took a pawn because, well, when you're losing, you should take material, right? However, the king is really open. The rook is here. The queen is coming. This check is coming. I even have this check to trade queens off, and he probably resigned after this. However, I went for a really nice sequence, and it was the best move. It was quite nice. You have this check, you have this check, and this check. So a lot of people will go for a check, and I knew that this check was really strong. So I thought I'm gonna play rook e4 first before I give this check. Now well, you cannot take this pawn because of the check. It's quite funny, and then you lose queen. So this pawn is not for grabs, and also don't go for this pawn because of this check. And this probably will get mated somehow. Yeah, now you have to sack your queen again. So rook e4 was a really nice move to play. He saw this because he's pretty good. He played queen b5. Well, it's not even a blunder. You're completely losing, so I am not counting this as a blunder. And now queen f5 is going. You're getting mated. If you want to get mated fast, it's rook h4 and mate. Or he went a little bit faster for this. It was probably a little bit mad, obviously. I was too if I would lose the game. King g2, king g8, and now you have this check, very beautiful check, and you have to go to king f8, and now you can see how strong the rook e4 was. So a really nice ending, and he resigned around here because he knew what would happen. So really nice start at the season. So I'm looking forward to the next game, and I will cover that as well. At least if I win, obviously. So bye.